Come see this thing 1586, Tale of Two Convicts, AI Weaponized Autism, Some Masaru. This is a series where I summarize rantatonne posts made up of at least 3 things I have read, seen, or heard. First question, why would people cheer Snoop and damn Trump? Richard Barris of the People's Pundit has some polling done where he's talking about saying that the dumbest political move in history might have been the raid on Mar-a-Lago that happened when Donald Trump was accused of holding classified materials. Yes, some of the things are going on with John Bolton right now. Former VP Pence had materials, Biden had materials, President Obama had materials, but with Obama now you can say that's the same because like Trump, he was president and had the ability to declassify certain things that the others did not have. He makes the case that they underestimated the backlash to this or what it would appear like, but I think they were also desperate and didn't care that the lawfare kind of showed people that if you wanted to point Trump as this sort of elite person who was not one of the people, and then you get the system where you show like, oh, unlike us, the rest of the literati and literati who are protected by this system, Trump is someone who's going to come over. Nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. And this had an ability of showing certain people that he is being treated in a similar way that the law actually affects them. And this could be something for them being protected in the law, in the state, being part of that team. They might have not really realized how many people who are outside of the law, outside of that in-group of theirs, actually generally interact with the state, interact with the judicial system. It's not generally a positive thing. And this kind of takes us back to Trump going back to his pre-political times where he was more of an icon of the pop culture, specifically the hip-hop industry. He was used a lot in that. Okay, next question. Is the effect of AI in the mind of the prompter? So going back to Snoop from before, he's had a lot of different things that he's done. He's done some positive things like Little League football coaching, but he's also a felon. He's also been a gangster rapper. He's also been a porn producer. And he's also a black individual. So besides that, this racist country that the United States of America is and the world is, he's still somebody who's put off where he can be holding the Olympic flame and running down there. He's put on all these shows. He's talking to Martha Stewart. But I guess in that situation, they're both convicts that are kind of talking together. But even with Snoop, things have gone around. He went from making a video where he was offing a Donald Trump impersonator, and now he performed at the crypto ball. And speaking of crypto, in this section, there's the besties of the All In podcast talking about AI and the potential for AI. There's some negative stories out there, and I do understand that the All In guys are also invested heavily into AI, so they might have some bias towards it. But it's such a new technology, and I'm waiting to see something like what happened in the sports world when the analytics came in. These are people who are not athletes themselves. They don't even have the mentality or physicality to want to play. But by being able to analyze the actual mental aspect of sports, the figures and things like that, they have revolutionized the way the physical game is actually played on the field. And I think AI is going to have a lot of success being applied to sociopolitics, where people can do analysis to break down systems and raise chances of reforming and evolving systems from its brute politics as usual means to a hopefully more liberty granting and just system. Last question, what hobby would you monetize? Think about how in developed countries people have found ways to monetize certain hobbies, and I think that will continue with AI as it frees up time for people to actually find things that they're more interested in doing, and it doesn't mean there won't be a demand of people watching them doing it and giving them money for doing it, like Masaru, my favorite Japanese fisherman in this section.